Yo, what's good, boxing heads and fight fans around the world? B Marsh with another boxing video. Grab your pen and papers and your notepads and whatnot, your whatever you use these days. School's in session, you know what I mean? I know the new kids, they don't even write down on pen and paper. They got iPads these days, but let's get into it, man. This is a list of basically fighters who jumped up 2 weight divisions, you know what I mean? And this is just an inspiration I got because my favorite fighter in boxing, not now, he been my favorite fighter, Gamble Rigondeaux, about to jump up 2 weight divisions to fight Vasyl Lomachenko from super bantamweight. He's jumping up to super featherweight, you know what I mean? Now let's get into it, you know what I mean? This is basically win, lose, or draw, you know what I mean? Fighters, I guess, who dared to be great. You check it? Now the first one I got right here, you already know, man, as you can see. Kell Brook versus Triple G. Kell Brook was IBF welterweight champ versus Triple G, who was a middleweight champion with 3 belts. You know what I mean? What was it? WBA, WBC, and IBF. You know what I mean? Which he still has till today. No lineal title from Triple G, no WBO belt. Those are 3 titles he still has till today. You know what I mean? This was an entertaining fight for the 5 rounds it went. You know, Triple Kell Brook looked good in spots. You know, I think I gave him about 2 rounds out of 5. But ultimately, man, that's why we got weight divisions. You know what I mean? Ultimately, you know, he got stopped in the 5th round. You know, but to me, the highlight of this fight was that vicious uppercut, right uppercut that Kell Brook popped Triple G with. You know what I mean? I can't remember which round it was, but it was something mean and it caught the attention of the man Triple G. Hey, man, you know, Kell Brook, I guess he did try to be great, you know. I don't know why he ain't just take that unification with Jesse Vargas, you know what I mean? You know, I guess he was counting Jesse Vargas' pockets. I think Jesse Vargas was probably going to make more than him, but hey, that's why I guess he said, okay, forget about it, man. I'm going to just go up there and try to fight Triple G. A big high-profile fight, but unfortunately for Kell Brook, he came up short, you know what I mean? But look, he's giving the man Triple G work, as you can see right there. You check it. Let's jump into the next one. What's the next one we got? The next one I have right here is Naoya Inoue. You know what I mean? Naoya Inoue, he jumped up 2 weight divisions from what was it, from 108, you know what I mean? From 108, from junior flyweight, he jumped all the way to super featherweight to challenge Omar Narvaez, you know what I mean? If I'm mistaken, I think the man Naoya was a unified champ at what was it, at junior flyweight, you know what I mean? But then he jumped up 2 weight divisions, you know what I'm saying? In less than 10 fights, you know what I mean? In less than 10 fights in his career, and he jumped up to beat Omar Narvaez, who was the WBO super flyweight champ, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, this was a big win, you know, because of the way he dismantled Omar Narvaez, you know what I'm saying? Omar Narvaez is a guy, you know, who was a long-time champion at this weight division, you know what I mean? Got numerous, well over 10 title defenses with this strap he had right here. This WBO, ooh, left hook right on the right there on the temple, you know what I mean? You're going down. You're going down, man. That equilibrium shot, man. A lot of people ain't going to be able to withstand that shot because it knocks your balance off, you know what I mean? And, you know, like I said, man, this was an impressive win the way Omar Narvaez got dismantled by Naoya Inoue because, you know, the monster, like I said, was coming up 2 weight classes. And not only that, you know, the man Onito Donaire went 12 rounds with this guy, Omar Narvaez, you know what I'm saying? But the monster Naoya Inoue dismantled him in 2 rounds, you know what I'm saying? Very impressive, knocked him down a couple times. And, you know, this is definitely one of the better showcases of fighters jumping up 2 weight classes, handling their business. Not a lot of people going to jump out the window and say, oh, them lower weights, man, they ain't too many pounds in between. Well, hey, man, that don't got nothing to do with me, man. This is just history lesson for you right here. And if you don't like it, too bad for you, man. The man jumped up 2 weight divisions, you know what I mean? Yes, I know there was 8. Ooh, there we go. Look, I know there was 8, the original 8 division classes, but I'm talking about what's happening right now. And I'm also talking about what happened in the past, you know what I mean? The past, present, and the future. B Marsh Boxing gonna let you know, you know what I mean? And this is right here another example of a guy jumping up 2 weight divisions. And this is when he got the WBO super flyweight title. What do we have next? I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't worried about nothing. You remember this fight right here? BK and Y, man. This was a good fight right here, man. It was the man AB, you know what I'm saying? AB jumping up two weight classes from 135. He went up there to 147, the welterweight, to challenge the welterweight champion of the world at that time, or one of them at least. The WBA welterweight champion was Paulie Malignaggi. He had just beat the guy Shinchenko, you know what I mean? He went to Europe. Paulie Malignaggi went out to Europe. He went out there to Europe to snatch that WBA title from Shinchenko, So he put the title on the line against AB. This was Paulie Malignaggi's first fight with Al Heyman. You remember he was critical of Al Heyman, and then he got with Al Heyman after being critical, Hey, if you can't beat him, join him, I guess, you know what I mean? And this was a good fight right here. AB didn't look good. He won the fight, you know what I'm saying? He got that title. He went up two weight classes from 135 after this beating up, what's the guy's name? DeMarco for that 135 strap, WBC. And, this was a close fight, and some people actually had Paulie Malignaggi winning this fight, you know what I mean? So, this was, yes, AB dared to be great, but to be honest, you know what I mean? Paulie Malignaggi probably, this fight could have easily been a draw, you know what I mean? But good fight nonetheless, you know what I mean? I distinctively remember this fight. It was on 2014, June 21st. That was my birthday, you know what I mean? Watched this with the mad fellas, you know what I mean? We had a couple people still, me and my homie who shared the same birthday, you know what I mean? June 21st, you know what I mean? We got thrown a little surprise birthday party, you know what I mean? It was all good, It was a fun day. We was mad people, we was mad deep. And we watched this fight, you know what I mean? And I'll never forget this night, you know what I mean? And Paulie Malignaggi lost the title. AB dared to be great, you know what I'm saying? But you know what happened next when he fought Maidana, when he dared to be great again, you know what I'm saying? All right. What do we have next, man? And these fights ain't in no chronological order, man. I'm just doing these off the cuff, you know what I'm saying? You check it. Another one we have right here. Shane Mosley versus his Los Angeles rival, Oscar De La Hoya, you know what I mean? And Shane Mosley was a king of the lightweights, you know what I mean? RBF title holder. He never really unified. I wanted him to fight fellas like Stevie Johnston and them, you know what I mean? I was really fiending for that fight back in the G, But he was a welterweight champion. I'm sorry, a lightweight champ. Mosley was, Man had like 30 plus wins with 30 plus KOs. He was knocking out everybody at 135. Then he dared to be great, you know what I'm saying? And he went up to 147 to challenge the man De La Hoya, and he beat De La Hoya. Like I said, these are two rivals from Los Angeles, you know what I mean? And, Shane Mosley wanted them paydays, you know what I'm saying? He wanted that big payday fight in the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, I'd like to see Shane Mosley fight at 140, fight fellas like Kostya Tszyu at the time. That was a real intriguing fight till today. I don't know who would have won that fight. Some might say Kostya Tszyu, some might say Shane Mosley, you know what I mean? But we'll never know, you know what I'm saying? But, I think Shane Mosley, this man had De La Hoya's number. But the second fight was kind of controversial still, you know what I mean? Both fights were close, De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, he dared to be great, you know what I'm saying? De La Hoya was always a big welterweight, big junior super featherweight at 130, 135, a lightweight. He was always bigger than his opponents, you know what I mean? Even right here, he's bigger than Shane, but Shane definitely handled his business, and he snatched that WBC welterweight title, you know what I mean? That Oscar De La Hoya got when he ain't really beat, but when he fought the man, Pernell Whitaker, you know what I'm saying? So that's another example right there. What we got next on the itinerary, you know what I mean? School is in session, baby boy. You already know, man. This one right here was classic right here. Roy Jones Jr. versus John Ruiz. Roy Jones Jr. was basically the undisputed, no question about it, undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, you know what I mean? He had the Ring Magazine title, not the lineal. Darius Michikowski had that. But he went up to face the WBA champion at heavyweight, John Ruiz, you know what I mean? Lennox Lewis was around, Chris Bird was around, Mike Tyson, these sort of guys at the heavyweight division, you know what I mean? But hey, John Ruiz picked the easiest guy I guess he could beat, and Roy Jones came in And he weighed in at 193, as you can see, versus John Ruiz, 226. Look at all that weight he's giving up. He's giving up 25 pounds on fight night, you know what I mean? And Roy Jones handled his business, you know what I mean? He did get rocked a little bit, I remember, by John Ruiz, but ultimately, man, Roy Jones outclassed the guy, you know what I'm saying? He outclassed him. You know, John Ruiz, you know, Puerto Rican guy from Massachusetts, you know what I mean? He had that crazy trainer, you know what I mean? I even forgot his name, man. But dude looked like a KKK member, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. John Ruiz, a trainer, man, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, this was a good fight right here, you know? The man did challenge himself, trying to be great, you know what I mean? You check it, but, you know, unfortunately for John Ruiz, man, he got embarrassed on this particular night, and Roy Jones got that out there to be great. He went up 2 weight classes. He jumped the cruiserweight, you know, and he went all the way up to heavyweight to fight the man John Ruiz, and you know this was a big win for him. You know what I mean? Because you know this hadn't been done since the man Michael Spinks did it. You know what I mean? So you know, big ups to Roy Jones. You know this was making history right here. Check it. What we got next on the itinerary? Like I said, this ain't in no chronological order, man, but just off the cuff, you know what I mean? And this one right here, we got Marlin Starling, you know what I mean? He was a champion, welterweight champion, you know what I'm saying, going up to face the IBF middleweight champion of the world, one of the best pound for pounders on the planet at the time. Michael second to none, you know what I mean? And you know, Michael second to none was a vicious boxer, you know what I mean? He had deceptive power, but he was a tall dude. Man he had a nice long reach, but he was a very good boxer, you know what I mean? He made fights look easy, you know what I mean? And you know, some people criticized him, as they always do, guys who are good, especially black boxers who are good, like Mayweather, Andre Ward, Pernell Whitaker, Guillermo Rigondeaux, you know, guys who are technically sound boxers, you know what I mean, who kind of make the game look easy, you know what I'm saying, just straight up and down outboxing their opponent, you know. You know, Marlon Starling, I think he was at this particular time, I think he was a WBC champion, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been WBA, you know what I mean. I know he was a welterweight champion, or he might have been IBF. I'm not too sure what champion he was at the time, you know what I mean, but you know, he dared to be great right here, and he fought the man Michael Nunn. And, you know, some people even had Marlon Starling winning this fight, you know what I mean? I remember it was a majority decision victory for the man Michael Nunn, you know what I mean? But, you know, this guy, he really tested him, you know what I mean? He really tested the man Michael Nunn, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, he came short on the judges' scorecards. But big ups to Marlon Starling, man. This guy, man, I mean, if Arturo Gotti's in the Hall of Fame, how the hell is Marlon Starling not in there, man? You know what I mean? Marlon Starling was a great fighter, you know what I mean? This guy was very underrated, you know? You know what I'm saying? Go look at what this man did to fellas like Mark Breland, man. You want to see a mean mugging? You want to see a little guy just straight up and down disrespecting a taller dude and just saying, I don't care about your height. Go look at that fight with Mark Breland, you know what I mean? But this was a good fight right here, you know what I'm saying? You know, this man, Marlon Starling actually, you know, he put the pressure on the man Michael Nunn, and, you know, like I said, came up just a little short, man. But, you know, some people on some cards, they might have had the man Marlon Starling winning this fight. Like I said, he dared to be great. Jumped from 147 all the way to 160 to face one of the best pound for pounders at that time on the planet. You check it. For what we got next over here. Oh, yes, I remember this fight right here, man. Rest in peace to Diego Chico Corrales, you know what I mean? Diego Chico Corrales. Let me see. This was his last fight of his career, matter of fact. He faced Joshua Clottey. I think Joshua Clottey was a 147, no doubt about it. But the man Corrales was jumping up from lightweight. He had just lost to Casamayor, and before that, he had just got beat up by a big Castillo, you know what I mean, in the rematch. So on his way out the game, man, in his last 3 fights, man, he had lost his last 3 fights. But this right here, Joshua Clottey showed him why there's weight classes. Beat the shit out of this guy, Chico Corrales. Joshua Clottey was a big, tough dude, man. Strong welterweight. Kept that high guard, you know what I mean? Hard to hit clean, you know? And a guy with deceptive power still, you know? Diego Chico Corrales was a guy, I guess he wasn't being too disciplined with his weight anymore, because I remember he did miss weight when he fought Casamayor in their 3rd fight. And And even this particular fight was at 147, and I think the man didn't even make 147. I guess he wasn't training, just taking fights at the time. And hey, man, Joshua Clottey made him pay for it. You know what I mean? Dropped this man a couple times. The man, Chico Corrales, I remember him spitting out his mouthpiece like he always did just to buy some time. You know, it was a 10 rounder, but it was a thrashing, a thorough beating. And this was the last fight of Chico Corrales' career, you know what I mean? Put this guy in the Hall of Fame too, you know what I'm saying? If Arturo Gotti's in the Hall of Fame, how's this guy who's been a lineal champion and a champion in two different weight divisions, you know what I'm saying? And the unified champion at that, how is Chico Corrales not in the Hall of Fame and Arturo Gotti is, you know what I mean? So, you know, like I said, man, I don't know if the man Chico Corrales dared to be great or whether he was just not being disciplined and making weight. You know what I mean? But ultimately, he paid the price for it, and Joshua Clottey made an example out of him. All right? What we got next? What do we have next? You know what I mean? Man, the most controversial fight in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? One of the toughest fights to score. Like I said before in many previous videos, sometimes I watch this fight, I got a draw. When I first watched it the first time as a little kid, I wasn't scoring fights them times. I remember watching this fight vividly with my fam and all them at the crib, you know what I mean? I seen Marvin Hagler win this fight, but sometimes I watch this fight, I could see why anybody would give it to the man, Sugar Ray Leonard, you know? And, you know what I'm saying? This was a great fight, man. You know, Sugar Ray Leonard was out the ring for 3 years, you know what I mean? Came up in weight, fought the man, the middleweight undisputed champion of the world, Marvin Hagler, you know what I mean? Now, somebody might jump out the window and say, oh, the man Sugar Ray Leonard, he's fought at 154 before. But, yeah, look, the man fought at 154 years before when he fought the man Ayub Kalule. I think that was like in 80, let me say 81, you know what I mean? 81. You check it when he went up to 154 and beat Ayub Kalule from Uganda, you know what I mean? The 154 WBA champ. But the man, he fought Kevin Howard. That was his last fight before he came up to fight the man, Marvin Hagler. That was at 147, you know what I mean? And he was out the ring for 3 years, and he jumped up in weight to face the baddest man on the planet at the time as far as... Marvin Hagler was probably #1 pound for pound at the planet at that time. When was this? 87? You know what I mean? He had to be, you know what I mean? You know, there's Julio Cesar Chavez at the time. Fellas like Mike Tyson was on the come up, but Marvin Hagler had paid his dues and definitely was probably the best fighter on the planet at the time. And this was a big victory for the man Sugar Ray Leonard, you know. I was always a Hagler fan, you know what I mean? I became a Hagler fan ever since he beat Tommy Hearns. I was a Hearns fan before him. I rooted for Hearns. That was the first fight I ever watched as a kid, Hearns versus Hagler, the war, 85, you know what I mean? I was a baby and all that, but I remember that fight, man. I was like 3 years old and things, you know what I mean? But I remember rooting for the guy with the kind of Jerry curl tall dude with the yellow shorts, and I still got that fight on VCR till today, you know what I'm saying? Just like I still got my pops still had them fights. What was it? Sugar Ray Leonard versus Durant. Still got them fights on VCR tape till today. You know what I mean? But like I said, this is fighters daring to be great, and this right here is Sugar Ray Leonard be daring to be great. It don't get no better than this. This ain't no John Ruiz. This man came to fight, man. Man, I said this ain't no John Ruiz. You check it. That man came to fight Marvin Hagler, and he got it done, man. Got the lineal strap off of him too, you know what I mean? Plus his WBC. You know, the man Sugar Ray Leonard called the previous fight of Marvin Hagler before this fight versus John Mugabe, and he saw some slippage in Marvin Hagler, and he said, forget about it, man. I'm about to challenge this guy, and he did what he did, man. I'm still salty till this day he beat Hagler, but hey, it's history, can't do nothing about it, you know what I mean? What we got next on the itinerary? Okay, right here. It's not that clear, you know what I mean? But Jose Napoles, you know what I mean? I think he was a WBA welterweight champ at the time. I think he was also a lineal titleist, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? But he's coming up to face the undisputed middleweight of the world at the time, Carlos Monzon, you know what I mean? And, you know, Carlos Monzon gave this guy a thorough beating, you know what I'm saying? You know, Jose Napoles is one of the best welterweights ever, you know? I mean, very good boxer, you know what I mean? But Carlos Monzon just, he annihilated this guy, you know what I mean? He showed him what his weight classes, you know what I mean? But then again, Jose Napoles there to be great, you know what I'm saying? This ain't no John Ruiz, the man that just stepped up to the fight. He came up to fight one of the best ever at middleweight, if not the best, Carlos Monzon, you know what I mean? But unfortunately for him, he got stopped, I believe, in like the 7th round in a vicious beating, you know what I mean? And Jose Napoles, hey, he paid the price, man. He paid the price, you know what I mean? But at least he was disciplined enough, you know. Unlike the way Chico Corrales was in his last couple fights, you know what I mean? And like I said, man, this guy was a champion. But then one thing for sure, two things for certain. All these fighters I'm talking about, if they were champions in the lower weight and jumped up 2 weight classes, and if they lost the fight, they weren't getting stripped of their title like they trying to do to man Guillermo Rigondeaux. But that's for a whole nother story. I got that video on my channel. Go back and look at it. I think that's disrespectful and disgusting how they trying to do Guillermo Rigondeaux, trying to be great. But it is what it is. Jose Napoles versus Carlos Monzon. Jose Napoles, the welterweight champ, jumping up to 2 weight divisions to face the man, what's his name? Carlos Monzon, but he came up short. What we got next? This video might be a little longer than expected, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. School's in session. I remember this fight distinctively too, man. Ooh, man, you know, this fight right here, man, I called it. I knew what Manny Pacquiao would do to this guy, you know. I mean, hey, Manny Pacquiao before this fight, I think he had just fought the kid David Diaz. And you seen what Pacquiao did to David Diaz, you know what I mean? And, you know, I seen the man De La Hoya. He moved down in weight, sure, to 147, a weight class he hadn't fought in like 7 years. But hey, that's not my problem, man. If the man thought he could beat Manny Pacquiao, that's why he took the fight. If he didn't think he could beat him, then don't take the fight, you know what I mean? Manny Pacquiao jumping up 2 weight divisions from 135, from lightweight to welterweight, and he annihilated this guy, you know what I mean? None of these, this guy wasn't a champion. De La Hoya at the time. This was his last fight of his career. Basically, Manny Pacquiao retired him. The hand speed was just too much for him. The head movement, man, the bob and weave style of the man Manny Pacquiao. This was Pacquiao in his prime, you know what I mean? You know, this was when the man was jumping up weight divisions like it was nothing and snatching people's titles, you know what I mean? And this was a great display of how to retire an older guy. Speed kills, and Manny Pacquiao annihilated this guy, you know what I mean? Jumping up 2 weight divisions. All right, what do we have next? Well, another lightweight champion jumping up, trying to be great. Floyd Mayweather coming out of retirement from doing his little Dancing with the Stars stint and fighting the Big Show in WWE. He came back, and this fight was supposed to be at a catch weight of like 142. Floyd ain't even make weight, and he came in at 146. The man, Juan Manuel Marquez, El Dinamita. Hey, man, he dared to be great. He was a lineal and unified champ, if I'm not mistaken, at lightweight. He lost every round, though, in my opinion, in this fight. He even got dropped with a kind of check left hook, man, right there. There you go. He got dropped. There you go. You know what I'm saying? You know, 2 of the best counter punchers of their era. You know what I mean? And, you know, Juan Manuel Marquez at the time was number 2 pound for pound on the planet because Manny Pacquiao was number 1, you know what I mean? And Floyd just schooled him. But look how big the man Floyd is on this guy, you know what I mean? You could see the difference, you know. But, hey, man, it is what it is. Floyd Mayweather. There was no title on the line in this fight, you know what I mean? But Juan Manuel Marquez dared to be great, you know what I mean? And this was a good victory for Floyd. Beat a Hall of Famer, a guy who's going to go to the Hall of Famer. You check it, the check left hook, man. The man Floyd was synonymous with that punch, you know what I mean? You check it, but hey, Dinamita came up short, man. Manuel Marquez, you know what I mean? Still a great fighter, but he fought one of the best, if not the best of this era, you know what I mean? Floyd Joy Mayweather, you know what I mean? All right. What's next, man? I ain't want to go too long into this fight, you know what I mean, but into this video, but it is what it is, man. What we got over here, man? Stanley Ketchel was a middleweight champion of the world. He came to fight the man Jack Johnson. He jumped up, you know, 2 weight classes, you know what I mean? Them times wasn't no cruiserweight or super middleweight. You know what I'm saying? That man jumped from 160 to go over 200 pounds. Think about that one time, man. Think about that, you know what I mean? To face Jack Johnson, you know? You know, Jack Johnson ultimately was carrying this guy, you know what I mean? But he did. Stanley Ketchel dropped Jack Johnson, matter of fact. This fight is like 1909, you know what I mean? This is in black and white. These are old time flicks right here. And, Jack Johnson, he got dropped. But, like I said, I think, the man, Jack Johnson, was carrying this guy, you know what I mean? Just trying to make it worthwhile because he would have annihilated this guy if he just went in for the kill. But I guess he wanted to entertain the fans. He got dropped, but there was an agreement, I guess, that, I don't know, man. Some people be trying to say that Jack Johnson's fights were fixed. I don't know about all that. I wasn't around in 1909, you know what I mean? One thing for sure, two things for certain, though. The guy Stanley Ketchel came up short, man. You ain't coming up 40 pounds to beat up Jack Johnson, one of the best heavyweights of all time, you know what I mean? But this is an example of a fighter daring to be great, you know what I'm saying? Okay? All right. Let's see what we got next. I think I even forgot to put a video, man. One other fighter who dared to be great also. Kapadia. I didn't put his video in here. George Kapadia was a lightweight champion, a light heavyweight champion, and he came up to fight the man Jack Dempsey, you know what I mean? I should have put that, I've just thought about that right now, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is all straight up off the cuff right here, you know what I mean? And in the comment section, if I forgot any video, if I forgot anybody who jumped up 2 weight classes, go ahead, throw it in the comment section, you know what I mean? That's one I just remember right now, you know what I mean? George Kapadia, Dan to be great, going up the, but when I really think about it, that's like Bob Foster, and then when Bob Foster went up to fight fellas like Joe Frazier and Zara Foley and Muhammad Ali, there wasn't no cruiserweight, so I guess I'm not really going to count that, you know what I mean? If it was today, in today's times, you know what I mean, jumping up 2 weight divisions, yeah, there was cruiserweight, there's cruiserweight now, but George Kapadia from light heavyweight to heavyweight, that's probably why I ain't put it. But actually, I ain't going to lie, I even totally forgot about that fight, you know what I mean? There goes Jack Johnson getting put on the canvas by Stanley Ketchel. All right. I gotta hurry up and do what I gotta do right here, man. What we got here, man? What's this one right here? What's this? Michael Spinks, light heavyweight, jumping up the heavyweight to fight Larry Holmes, you know what I mean? They fought twice, you know what I'm saying? I thought, especially the second one, Larry Holmes won, but hey, it is what it is. I like Michael Spinks, one of my favorite fighters of all time, you know what I mean? And Larry Holmes, one of my favorite heavyweights of all time, you know what I mean? But the man, Michael Spinks, dared to be great, and he jumped up from light heavyweight. I remember he had a vicious training regimen to gain the weight and the muscle to come up and fight the man Larry Holmes. He gave him a good fight, both of them close fights. And he became the world champion, you know what I mean? He beat the man, the lineal champion and the IBF champ at the time, Larry Holmes, you know what I mean? And depending on who you ask, both of these fights are close. And some people had the man, Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes winning these fights. Let me hurry up, man. I ain't got too much time, you know what I'm saying? Let me see what we got next. This is definitely an example of a guy jumping up 2 weight divisions. Look, the man Amir Khan is a 147-pound fighter. He fought Cannoli at 155, and anything over 154 is middleweight. Ain't that right? All right, then. I know it ain't 160 on the dot, but anything over 154 is middleweight. You know what I mean? Because the max is 160, the limit is 154. You know what I mean? So, this man came up 2 weight classes, and you know what happened. He got put to sleep, man. Ain't too much to talk about this, you know what I mean? The match, Amir Khan displayed some good hand speed early. Look at this. Bop, bop. Ooh, nice, you know what I mean? He looked good for the first 3 rounds, man, but ultimately them body shots, man, they took a toll on the man, and he got bodied, I believe, in the 6th round, man, with he got chin checked, and he went down. You know what I'm saying? What's another one? Okay, what's another one we got? B-Hop, man, which I thought should have been B-Hop's probably last fight of his career, man. He jumped up. This was after he had lost his titles to, he lost the second fight to Jermaine Taylor. Hey, the man dared to be great, and he went up from 160 to 175. He jumped him the super middleweight division, you know what I mean? He checked it, and the man went up there and beat the man, Antonio Tarver, you know what I'm saying? And he even dropped Antonio Tarver, you know what I mean? Some people make excuses for Tarver, say, oh, the man was overweight. Oh, the man had just done the Rocky movie. That's not my problem, man. He shouldn't have taken the fight then, you know what I mean? B-Hop was actually, he's always been a better fighter, you know? B-Hop was a guy who aged well he aged with grace, you know what I mean? And he got better as a fighter as he got older. And he beat this guy for the lineal light heavyweight championship of the world, you know what I mean? So big ups to B-Hop. Okay, I think that's about it, man. I think that's about it right now. I don't know if I left anybody out. I think I might have. I think I'm thinking of somebody. What's his name? Might have been, what's his name? Mike McCallum, you know what I mean? Mike McCallum was a guy, he ain't have a world title at what's it called? 168, you know what I'm saying? He was a guy who jumped up from 160, you know what I mean? He jumped up from 160 to light heavyweight, from middleweight to light heavyweight, you know what I'm saying? He was a guy who had straps at 160, a WBA title, you know what I mean? But then he jumped up to 175, and he fought the Australian dude, what's his name? Jeff Harding, you know what I mean? For the light heavyweight title, you know? You check it, so yeah, you could say, you know what I mean, the man, you could definitely say